Hello and welcome to MBSE Academy, my new channel all about model-based systems engineering, because systems deserve good models. Hi, my name is Frank, I'm a certified system engineer and love sharing my knowledge to help you work more effectively. Today I will walk you through building the iconic Batmobile model in SysMLv2 using SysON, one of the first freely available SysMLv2 tools developed by Obeo, which is currently still in an experimental phase. I'm co-authoring at the moment a brand new book with my friends David and Hamza called SysMLv2 for Beginners. Just with our previous book, Simple SysML for Beginners, these videos are designed to complement the book, giving you hands-on demonstration, extra tips and practical examples. For this, I will take you on a step-by-step tour on the SysON user interface from the SysON tutorial. Along the way, I will point out few magic moments where SysON makes modeling surprisingly smooth. So let's get started. The Batmobile model that we are about to build step by step has a long history. It was originally developed by Professor Jon Holt from the United Kingdom, who is known as the author of MBSE Demystified. It was later used by the SysMLv2 Submission Team as a demonstration model during the pilot implementation. It then appeared in the book Don't Panic, the Absolute Beginner's Guide to SysMLv2 by Tim Weilkiens and Christian Muggeo, before finally ending up in this SysON tutorial. By the way, speaking of Jon Holt, there's a great and cozy video of him dressed as Batman after losing a bet. You will find the link to this video down in the description. Let's jump into SysON. SysON is a new SysMLv2 tool developed by Obeo as an open source project. It brings the new SysML version to life in a modern web-based environment. SysON is built on Eclipse Serious Web. No installation is required except for Docker. Simply launch it in your browser and get started. After starting Docker and opening my web browser at localhost 8080, SysON greets me with its homepage, which is also the project's browser. This is a central start page from which I can either create new projects or open and manage existing projects. For this video, I'm using the current stable release SysON version 2025.6, which is still experimental. At the top of the toolbar, I can return to the home page, which is this page, or go directly to project libraries or help under links. In help, I can go directly to the comprehensive SysON documentation on GitHub. Here you can also find the tutorial on which this video is based on. Below that, there are two main areas. Create a new project to create or add a new SysMLv2 project, either empty or from a template with an initial structure, or via file upload. The existing projects area shows all projects that have already been created. I'm going to create a new SysMLv2 project in the project browser based on SysMLv2 template. Compared to an empty project, it already contains a very basic project structure. After creating the new project, I'm automatically taken into the project editor, my central workspace in SysON. This is where I create and edit all the content for my project. The project area is divided into four areas. At the top, we still have the toolbar with the home button plus an additional project options menu that lets you rename, download or delete the project or open its settings. A left sidebar which shows the project explorer and validation results. An editor area, the heart of the tool, where I edit my diagrams and models directly. And the right sidebar, which is contextual and shows details of the selected elements, available views and linked elements. In the Project Explorer, we can clearly see the initial structure of the template. It consists of a model, an initial package and a general view usage with an associated diagram. The view usage determines which model content is displayed. The diagram is a graphical representation of this content. In other words, the view usage is a frame of the section from the model and the diagram is the image inside it. I can rename the project. I'll name the project Batmobile Project. And similarly, I name the model Batmobile Model. And the package User Model Package. A clear structure right from the start. Now I will switch to the main editor. This is where I create the actual content. In the main editor area, I right-click on the diagram background to open the contextual toolbar. Under Structure, I look for and select New Part Definition, which I will name Vehicle. This is my generic vehicle. Instead of scrolling down and look, I can also search in the contextual toolbar. So if I want to add an item to the vehicle, for example, I simply write item. I add a driver as an item. In SysMLv2, an item represents something that can flow into, out of, or through a system, or simply something the system interacts with, without being part of its fixed structure. That's why driver works well as an item. The driver operates the vehicle, but isn't built into it. And just like every Batmobile needs a driver, it also needs an engine. But unlike the driver, the engine is part of the mobile's core structure. That's why I add it as a part, because it's built into the vehicle and essential for its operation. In SysON, holding down the Control key allows you to select multiple elements in the diagram simultaneously. Here I use this feature to select both the driver and the engine, allowing me to move them together and maintain an organized layout. Now we come to one of my favorite features in SysON. I right-click and add a new part. When I type wheels (wheel), SysON automatically creates the corresponding part definition, wheel, saving me the extra manual step. As soon as I drag it into the diagram, the type connection appears automatically. A quick way to see exactly how parts are linked. Pressing the Control button again, and I can select and move both elements. Now that the basic structure is in place, it's time to create our Batmobile as a specialization of the generic vehicle. I add a new part definition and I type Batmobile : vehicle. The : is like a magic command. SysON not only creates a Batmobile, but also the specialization relationship. One click saved, that's clean modeling. Now that we have defined the wheels, it's time to integrate them into the Batmobile structure. I drag wheels onto Batmobile and the connection is complete and immediately visible in the diagram, straight to the result. Now the wheels are a physical part of the Batmobile, forming the base for more detailed structural definitions. With wheels now part of the Batmobile, I define two of them as subsets, front right wheel and front left wheel. Subsetting is a way to define a more specific role or view of existing parts. Here I will make two wheels individually addressable for design or analysis in the model. So I type front right wheel : wheels. In the context of parts, this : operator acts as subset command, telling SysON that these parts inherit all the characteristics of wheels but represent a more specific selection within that set. A little message to Obeo: it would be great if as soon as I type : SysON would offer me a drop-down list of existing elements to choose from. But I'm sure that's already in development. I repeat the step for my front left wheel. Once defined, I place both front wheels one by one directly inside the Batmobile structure, using become nested parts. I click on front right wheel, then drag from its arrow border onto Batmobile and select become nested part. I repeat the same for front left wheel. This step ensures that Batmobile structure explicitly contains these specific front wheels, not just the general wheels, making the model both structural complete and semantically clear and correct. With the base Batmobile defined, I now create a next generation variant. I add a part definition and name it Batmobile Next Generation. Then I drag an arrow from it to Batmobile and select New Subclassification. With our Batmobile variant in place, it's time to give it a serious upgrade, having some bulletproof wheels. I right-click, New Part, rename it to BulletProofWheels, 4 in colon, and double greater than wheels. The column double greater than instantly says this is a redefinition. SysON automatically creates a redefines relationship between the bulletproof wheels part and the wheels part, precise and without any extra clicks. To wrap up the variant, I connect the bulletproof wheels to the Batmobile next generation. Now our special variant is fully equipped with bulletproof wheels. Mission accomplished. Finally, let me quickly introduce the details pane on the right. This pane is always context sensitive, displaying the properties of the current selected element, in this case the driver. From here I can edit its name, type multiplicity and visibility, and even add documentation. Let's add some documentation. So here let's say don't drink and drive. And there we go. Our driver now comes with a built-in safety reminder. It's a simple example, but it also shows how you can easily capture some notes. So as you can see, in a couple of minutes we have built a complete SysMLv2 model, including specialization, subset, redefinition. SysON already shows some really clever features. Automatic type creation, magic comments such as colon greater than, which makes modeling more fluid. However, the tool is still in experimental stage. No autocomplete, no redo after undo, no multiple select in browser and delete. But as I said, I think this is already in the queue for development. So it's still too early for productive work, but as a playground for SysMLv2, it's easy accessible and really great. One more reason I like SysON, it's open source, under Eclipse license. That means anyone from students to enterprise can use it, adapt it, and even extend it, which is key for the broader adoption of SysMLv2. As I mentioned at the beginning, this video is part of our new book project SysMLv2 for Beginners with my friends David and Hamza, the follow-up to our first book. The book will be full of practical examples and you will find links to exclusive companion videos like this one. More tools, deep dives are already in the pipeline, including Rhapsody SE, Ansys and Cameo, and many more. If you enjoyed this video and want more around MBSE and SysML, subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumb up and let me know in the comments which tools and features do you use most, what topics would you like me to cover next. You can also find my current MBSE training offering at www.mbse.academy. Feel free to check it out. Thanks for watching here at MBSE Academy, because systems deserve better models. Stay tuned for regular tips and tricks and tutorials around systems engineering. Thank you and goodbye.